Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Tuesday, the 2nd of August 2016. And starting off in the 5-minute chart, yesterday straightforward in the first half of the session. The second half, a completely different ball game. So what I'm going to do is to show you how I traded this, because there were a few clues that things weren't going to go according to plan after the first signal. So let's switch to the live trading. We've got the start of the evening session there, and we'll fast forward to the sell signal. We see the sell signal being filled, and then this is where, I'll just pull that back just a bit more. We see this is where the problem starts. We've got a situation here where the order is actually filled, and then the market will not move lower. And in this particular trade, of course, we were hoping the market would go down and retest the lows from where the market had fallen previously, but that wasn't to be the case. And what I'm doing now is actually going to try and reduce the loss. I'm having a look at the volume. I can see that there was some selling initially, and then it just disappeared. It's just something that I learned years ago. We don't normally do this in the basic version, but I was just intrigued to see what was actually going on. So what I'm going to do is, the market's struggling to move lower, attempting to reduce the loss here by placing 50% above the last completed bar, and obviously in this situation it proved to be right, because the market then just rallied back. At this point I went searching for news. I couldn't find any to see why the market had just reversed like this, so I assumed that we had the plunge protection team in the market at this time, and then again it just fizzled out. But what became apparent was the 18,400 level, which we see there with the red line, became a real resistance level for this market. So then we had a second attempt to the downside, and again you see the market coming off. After it fills, you see how it bounces back and then trades sideways, tucking underneath the 18,400 level once again. And again I tried to reduce the loss here by going 50% above this bar, because it just simply wouldn't go down. And this is something that we've seen, and I keep going on about. They're desperate to keep this market up. After moving lower there was no way they were going to let it move down for a second wave before the end of the session. So then we see the market sideways, coming back through, giving you the chance to actually get out of the trade, which I didn't. I wanted to give it a bit more time, and then we had a buy signal, which of course then automatically switches from the sell to the buy side there, and we see the market trading back up to that 18,400, then reversing, and then we see the market actually drive through quite strongly and then just fail to hold. It's just bizarre. You can see how sideways the market was, and I've not really seen it like this for a while, where it's done this sort of sideways of about 10 or 15 points, and in particular to actually drive through like that and then come back and then just take out the trade. And then at that point I thought, there's no point in sitting and watching this. It's like watching paint dry. So what we've got a situation now that seems to be unfolding, that we get activity in the sort of pre-market, followed by the first part of the session, but thereafter not a lot at all. So just a word of warning, and in particular on a Tuesday evening as well, it can be fairly quiet. And of course, now I've said that, it's going to be completely different. So an update on yesterday's or after the activity after the market closed. You can see there the market trading up, for some unknown reason managing just to go through no problem at all. But during the session there was a lot of force in this market coming in, and again pushing prices back to the downside there. In the daily chart we've got an interesting picture there. We're still sideways, still finding support at 18,364, and again sideways to lower at the moment. News wise today we've got absolutely nothing out during the market session. That's from 2:30 p.m. so unless there's something of a geopolitical nature or any other sort of they call black swan events coming into the market, then expect prices to be very quiet indeed. And again, it may be worthwhile standing aside if the volatility drops off immediately after the first 10 or 15 minutes. Implied volatility, that was 1025, increasing from the 978 record that we've seen, so moving up slightly because the market moved lower after the news at 3 p.m. there. And speaking of news, I managed to find out what moved the market at the 6:30 onwards, and why we had those sharp up and down moves within a range, was Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse kicked out of the Stoxx Europe 50 index. Apparently these two banks, because of the drop in their share prices during the last year, are having a negative impact on the Euro 50 stock, so they've been shifted to another indices, so that again the illusion can be created that the stock markets are now free to move higher, because the two major banks, German bank and Swiss bank, were pulling the index down. So the weighting of it is what they're saying is not good. Of course, they wouldn't be saying that if the banks were making new highs, but because they need to keep the illusion alive, that's exactly what they're doing at the moment. So we're seeing these two stocks being moved, and that's how the market was reacting at that time. Right, that's it for today. I will see you in tomorrow's edition. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.